Hi everyone, my name is Leah. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me for my first ever video on YouTube. I have decided to start this channel as just a way, just kind of a creative outlet. I love makeup, skincare. I love, reviewing products. I enjoy watching those types of videos on YouTube, and I thought, why not? So if you are here, thank you. I really appreciate it. In just a couple minutes, I'm going to show you how to do this simple makeup look that can be worn every day. I've gotten a lot of requests to do some tutorials, so I figured why not start out the channel with one of those. So if you have any ideas of what you would like to see on this channel, please leave it in a comment below. If you like what you see, give it a thumbs up, and you can also hit the bell, little bell icon for notifications each time I submit an upload. So stay tuned. I will be showing you how to get this eye look. Thanks for being here, and let's get started. So first I'm going to start by priming my face with my Ciate London Hydrating Primer in Watermelon Burst. It smells really good. It smells just like watermelon. So I'm just going to take a tiny little bit of that. I have already washed and moisturized my face using my Soothe regimen from Rodan & Fields. It's my go-to. It's good stuff. So I'm just going to rub this in my face. I rub it all over. Even if you have oily skin, you want to make sure you moisturize really well, because if you don't moisturize, your skin will just produce more oil and you'll have more breakouts. So I know my face is really red right now. It's because I'm rubbing stuff on it, so it's gonna be a little bit of red, or a lot of red actually, but it's all good. Okay, so that's rubbed in. The next thing I'm going to do is take my CYO Life Proof Long-Lasting Foundation. This is $7 at Walgreens. I think you can only get it online though. I don't think they carry it in stores. I haven't found it in stores, but I'm all about mixing drugstore and high-end stuff. So if I can find a good product that's $7, I'm going to use it. So what I'm going to do is take a little bit of this on my beauty blender. Or actually, I'm going to put it on my palm, just a couple pumps. And then I'm going to take my beauty blender and bounce it just right on top. And this is a pretty medium coverage foundation, I guess. It's not too heavy, not too sheer, which I like. So you just want to get that blended in. And I don't think I'm going to do any concealer today because this is actually blending out pretty well. I always get the top of the lid. There's some discoloration there, but we're working on it. And I'm just going to get the remainder of what's on my back of my hand. And get the other side. Okay, and go over the eye. And just make sure that's all blended out. I take it down the neck too a little bit because I'm very fair and a lot of foundations don't match my exact undertone. I have a little bit of a strange undertone. It's not, sorry, the lighting's going in and out. It's not yellow, but it's not pink, and it's not quite neutral. It's weird. I don't know. Finding the foundation match is the struggle, but we work with it. We work with what we got, right? So I'm just going to keep blending. Secret to making your foundation look more seamless is to just keep blending. When you think you're done, you probably need to blend a little bit more. Bringing that down the neck. And I think I will build it up a little bit more. That's the good thing about this foundation, is that the coverage is really buildable. It's not going to get too heavy too quickly. So I just took a very, very small amount, and I'm just going to apply that actually on my face where I need a little bit more coverage. And just blend that in. I get up underneath the eye just to camouflage any dark circles, and Lord knows we all got those. Sorry about the lighting, y'all. This is I clearly don't have a ring light yet, so I'm filming on my phone. But again, working with what we got. Okay. And you can see it doesn't leave your face looking dry. It actually looks semi-hydrated, which is always a good thing. A lot of foundations will dry out your skin, and I'm not. I got dry skin on its own. I'm not all about that cakey look, so. Again, CYO from Walgreens, $7. Pretty good. So, the next thing I'm going to do is take, again, another drugstore product. This is the Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder by Maybelline. I absolutely love this stuff. People will talk about the Laura Mercier powder, which I have used in the past, but A, it's $35, and B, I'm just too fair to be using that. It leaves like a weird yellow finish on my skin, and I don't like that. So it's very very finely milled powder, very, very, very soft. Love it. I've repurchased this, I can't tell you how many times. So I'm just putting a little bit in the lid, and then I'm going to take my beauty blender. I'm not going to use a brush just yet. I'm going to take my beauty blender and I'm going to dip it in, just so it's got some on it. And I'm going to go under the eyes just to brighten it up a little bit and to set that foundation. Go across the nose. And again, you want to kind of push that in. That's really going to help you get an airbrush finish. Whew, this lighting, y'all, I'm so sorry. I promise I'll get a ring light at some point. But gotta be able to pay for the setup too, right? Okay, so get the top of the eye too, because your foundation will crease if you don't set it. Especially more hydrating foundations are prone to crease more. So this will also prime your eyes for eyeshadow. So you don't necessarily need to shell out money for an eye primer, which I kind of find them to be kind of a gimmick anyway. I don't use eye primers. Facial primers I will use, but a lot of the times a moisturizer is enough. But if I'm going out somewhere and I know I'm going to be sweating a lot, I'll use a more tacky primer to keep my foundation in place. But just for this tutorial, I just used a light primer, excuse me. Okay, so that's all blended in. Doesn't look really cakey or anything. And again, just when you think you're done blending, you're probably not. So keep going. Okay, so got that done. Next, I am going to take a little bit on my powder brush. The brush I use is my BH Cosmetics brush. I can't remember what number it is. I got it in a set. BH Cosmetics has, if you're looking for an affordable brush set, I think I got a set of 20-something brushes for like $15 or something. They're always having sales, so check out BH Cosmetics. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that, and I'm going to set the bottom part of my face. and a little bit on the forehead. And this will help your bronzer go on better, if you so choose. Okay. That's blending out pretty well. Sorry, there's something on my phone. Okay, so that's done. Next I'm going to take a little bit of bronzer. As you know, I'm pretty fair skinned, so I try to warm up the face a little bit. So I'm using my Pacifica bronzer and blush duo. I don't use the blush as much because it's a little bit dark for me. But the bronzer is a really good shade. It's warm, but it's not too orange. I don't want to look like Donald Trump. So this is what it looks like. I'll be using the bronzer right here. Pacifica is a cruelty and vegan company. They have very, very good products. I fully support them. And this shade, I'm not sure if they only have one shade, but this is in Bronze Rose and Coconut Infused Blush and Bronzer, 100% vegan and cruelty free. So we love that. So I'm going to take a little bit on one of my BH Cosmetics brushes. It's a stipple brush. I got it in the same set as that big one. So we're just going to use it. So I'm going to tap a little bit into that, tap up the excess. And I'm just going to put this on my cheekbones. Now, if you have a round face like me, I know it can be hard to find where your cheekbones are. Just kind of guess. Makeup's not, it doesn't have to be perfect. There are no real rules in makeup. There are certain techniques that can help you, but there are no real rules. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to place that right on the hollows of my cheeks. Just to give a little bit of warmth to the skin. And do the other side. And that gives a little bit of contour as well. I'm not huge on contouring because I don't want to change the whole shape of my face. I just want to add a little bit of color so I don't look like death. A little bit more, and I take some on my temples as well, just to give a little tiny bit of dimension, not too much, but just a little bit where natural shadows would fall on your face. And see, it just adds a little bit of extra color there. And I'll do a little bit down the neck too, just to blend everything together. I like that shade a lot. Next step, I'm going to take a little bit of blush on my brush, and I am using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Blush Trio in Pink Passion. If you've never used Anastasia blushes, they are incredible. I actually got this on sale I got it at TJ Maxx. You can get a lot of their stuff there. Fun fact, you don't always have to pay full price. So I'm going in with this more neutral shade right here, and I'm going to mix it with the middle one just to add a little bit of brightness, but I'm not going to go for full hot pink highlighter cheeks. That's not my thing, never really been my thing. So I'm just going to dab a little bit. And just go on the apples of the cheeks. See, it adds a nice little rosy touch without being too much. And fun fact, if you think you've overdone it with the blush, you can always go over it with your beauty sponge and just kind of blend over it with the residual foundation on there. Lord knows I've had to do a lot of that. So I think that's it for the face. I'm not going to do too much else. I may add some highlighter at the end. I'm not big on highlighter, but sometimes you're feeling it. So when I get done with the eye look, we'll see how I'm feeling. So for the eye look, I'm going in with the new Nude palette by Huda Beauty. Huda Beauty is a brand that there's a lot of controversy surrounding that brand, but I'm not going to get into it right now. I bought this kind of on a whim, but she really does have beautiful, beautiful eyeshadows, and her foundations are great as well, but this is what it looks like. You can see it's got a variety of matte shades, and it has some killer chunky, but it's not going to have a lot of fallout, but these chunkier glitter shades, and then these just pressed glitters right here. So these are absolutely gorgeous. So I think for today I'm going to do a mix of colors from this palette, and I also have, again, me mixing drugstore with high-end. This L'Oreal eyeshadow that I love, it is in the shade, oh god, I'm horrible with French, Pain au Chocolat. Please don't kill me. I don't know French, but we're just going to go with it. So, I'm going to start by using the Huda Beauty palette, and I'm going to go in with a fluffy brush. I'm going to go in with my Morphe M514 brush. I love Morphe brushes. They are very affordable and very good quality. So I think I'm going to go in first with this color Bear right here. It's just a light color. I'm just going to press that on my eyes. I know we already prepped with the foundation and the powder, but I'm going to go in with a little more just to be safe. And that's in the shade Bear. Okay. Then I'm going to take the color Teddy right here, and I'm going to dip a little bit. Now, you do not need much with these shadows because they are super pigmented, so I'm going to actually mix, acting like I don't know what I'm doing. It's because I don't. A lot of these looks just come together as I go. I'm going to take a mix of Teddy and Secret right here. These names are a little bit raunchy, so bear with me. A little bit Teddy, a little bit of Secret, and I'm going to go into my crease. And blend that out. I'm going to do my eyebrows after. Don't worry. Okay, now you can see that's kind of a warm reddish brown color. They blend like a dream, I'll say that. I started with, you know, a lot of pigment on my brush, and they blend out pretty well. So I just go, you want to place your brush where you want the most amount of pigment, which is usually the outer corner of your eye. So you'll start at the outer corner, blend and drag in as you go. That way you don't get a big stamp of pigment in the middle of your eye. So do that. Just finish blending that out. And again, I'm going in mix of Teddy and Secret, and I'm going to do the other eye. Again, place the brush where you want the most amount of pigment to go, which is the outer corner. And then you're just going to drag it in. Do like windshield wiper motions. And I'm going to show you a trick in a minute for blending. If you start to panic You realize you have too much pigment or it's not blending the way you want to, I'll show you a trick in just a minute. But we're going to blend that out as much as we can. And you can see that adds a bit of dimension to the eye. If you have hooded eyes, you know, making sure you choose the right crease shade is very important. I do not have hooded eyes. I have very round eyes, which can be annoying in a lot of ways. I'm trying to adjust myself here. There we go. That's a lot better. So we blended that out. I'm going to take a little bit more of Secret. That's the lighter shade right here. Just do a little bit more on that outer corner. Bring it in. I drag it out to the very outer corner to kind of elongate my eyes, because my eyes are again very round and kind of close together. So I kind of try to put as much pigment as I can on the outer corners. Okay. Now what I'm going to show you is if you feel like you've gotten too much pigment or it's not blending out as much and you find that you have a lot of harsh lines, take a fluffier blending brush. You can see the difference between the two. The Morphe M514 is a little bit tinier, and then my M441, also by Morphe, is a little bit thicker. You can see that. So what I do is I take the thicker brush, or the more fluffy brush, and I'm going to go in with the shade Bare, again the one we started off with to set the eyes. Take a little bit of that, and I'm just going to blend over that color, and it kind of tames it down a little bit, and it makes it blend more diffused. You don't need a lot. Again, you don't need a lot. You want to build up your shadows. You don't want to go in with boom, bang, pigment, you know. Now, if you're more advanced and you're, you know, going for a more dramatic look, by all means, go for it. I have days like that, but this is just going to be a simple, more neutral look. So, now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that L'Oreal shadow that I couldn't pronounce, that I butchered, I'm so sorry, again. And I'm going to take, this is a, what is this? Morphe M408. This is just a flat shader brush. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take eyeshadow, I'm going to get a good amount of it on my brush, and then I'm just going to pack it onto my lid. So, now a lot of times your finger will actually be your best bet, and I think that's one of the, yeah, this is one of those times this brush is not doing anything. Sorry. Hold, please. Alright, so I'm just going to take my finger, I'm going to swirl it around, and it's got some really, whoo, look at that. It's got some shine to it. So, I'm going to put that on my eye. There we go. There's that pigment. I'm going to make sure I get my inner corner as well, because that'll help brighten up your eyes. Now it almost looks, it's hard to see it on here, but in person it almost has a purple undertone, but then when you put it on the eyes it's a taupe. It's actually quite a beautiful color, and it's pretty versatile. So I'm going to go in with the other eye. Again with my finger. It's just, your fingers are your best tools a lot of the time. I still prefer to put my foundation on with a beauty blender because it just distributes it more evenly. But for eyeshadows, a lot of times when it comes to shimmery shades or metallics, your fingers will be the best option. You can also wet a brush, but I'm not flipping you off, I promise. It's like I am. And you can build up that color to the intensity that you want. And this is a good daytime look. If you just want to leave it like that, it's a good look just for everyday use. So I'm gonna, I think, leave that for the lid. And next what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit more dimension. I'm going to deepen up the outer corner by adding a little bit of a deeper shade. So this is where you kind of get to decide the color scheme. This is the cool part. So we used a rather neutral shade for the crease, and then we added a rather neutralish eyeshadow that has a taupey purple undertone to it. So you can kind of decide where you want to go from there. You can either make it like a brown, like a dark brown smoky eye, or you can do a purple. So I think today I'm feeling more of the purple or plum. I think we're going to go with a plum. So I'm going to go back to my Huda Beauty palette, and I think I'm going to go in with, I'm going to go in a mixture of Tease and Love Bite. I told you these names are a little bit risque, but we're just going to go with it. So what I'm going to do is, what am I going to do? I'm trying to figure out which brush to use. I think I'm going to, yep, that's what we're going to do. Sorry. Planning goes into this, man. I should have planned ahead of time, but I didn't. So I'm going to take a smaller, it's another Morphe brush. This is the M507. It is a very small crease brush, so it's really good for getting in your outer corner and just, you know, contouring that out a little bit. So I'm going to take the more neutral shade first, because whenever you're contouring, you don't want to use anything too warm or too pigmented, because you're creating like a shadow. So I'm going to take a tiny little bit of Tease. That's the more neutral of the two purples, or I guess more cool tone is what I'm trying to say. And I'm just going to pop a little bit of that in the outer corner. You don't need a lot, you just need a little bit. And we're just creating that shadow. And you don't want to take it all the way across, because then you'll get a stripe, a stripe of color, and you don't really want that. And always bang off your brush to get the excess off. So see how we're creating that shadow? It's a subtle difference, but it's there for sure. You can see a little bit of a difference there. See how that's just a little bit more defined, and then that one's not as defined. So we're going to take it on the other eye, do the same thing. And you kind of want to drag it down onto the lid. I didn't do that on the other eye, but I probably should. So we're just creating dimension here. And I messed up a little bit. I don't know I messed up, but I took it a little too high on my lid. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go back to, remember I told you that trick? I'm going to go back into that color Bear, and I'm going to just lightly blend out the edge, so it's not as heavy on the outer side, outer lid. Can't talk today. Okay. And then you just always want to check and look in the mirror just to make sure everything's pretty blended. And then this is kind of the fun part. After we've created that shadow that we want, you can go in with a blending brush. I'm going to go in with that thicker one. And I'm going to go in with that color Love Bite, the one, the deeper purple right here. And I'm going to take a little bit. This is where you don't want to build too much, get too much color. You can dip your brush in, bang it off, and then just lightly press it on the outer corner so you get your pop of color. I'm not even blending, I'm just patting lightly. And I prefer to do this with a fluffy brush just because it adds more of a gradient. You're not just putting it in one spot, you know. It just disperses the color a little bit better. See, you got that pop of purple. And this is still a good eye look to wear every day. It's not too intense. If y'all want to see some more dramatic, you know, more editorial style looks, I'm happy to do those too. But I figured for the first video, I would start with something a little bit more wearable. So I'm going to do the other side. Just gently pat that on. And we're going to go back and blend a little bit more, but I'm just getting that color down. I'm blending that up a little bit, just a little bit into the crease. Again, you don't want to go all the way over, unless you're doing a halo eye, but we're not doing that today. We're just doing a simple smoky eye. Okay. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to our French eyeshadow. I can't pronounce. It's just what I'm going to call it because I really don't want to butcher the name. And then I'm just going to go back, take a little bit more of that because we may have lost a little bit of the intensity as we were blending out the shadow. So I'm going to go back and kind of reapply that, and that kind of helps the purple diffuse into it, so you get a gradient effect. See that? Here we go. Alright, so before I get into eyeliner and mascara, I'm going to do my brows real quick because it's bothering me. I'm using, this is just a Revlon brow pencil. I don't do the pomade and all that because I have eyebrows, I just need to fill them in. And the pomade just kind of, it doesn't work well with me. So I just use the Revlon Color Stay brow pencil in dark brown, and it comes with a spoolie on the end to kind of comb your brows first. And then the other side is a pencil. So I'm actually going to use my mirror for this, but what you want to do is, this is how I do it. I start at the bottom of my brow just to kind of get the shape. And then you fill them in as you go. But I'm going to go ahead and take You want to go in with a light hand, folks. You don't want to end up with brick eyebrow. And then I'm going to bring it up a little bit. Comb it through the hairs and then down. And then I just comb it through. You can make your eyebrows as bold as you want, or as tame, whatever you prefer to do. And then I just fill in the front. And I'm going to take that spoolie on the other end, and I'm just going to comb that through. And I'm going to do the other one. Now, these are probably going to end up more like sisters rather than twins, but that's okay. I'm just going to go with it. Now, if you're someone who doesn't have a lot of eyebrow hair, you may want to use a thinner pencil. This one's rather thick because this is more for depositing color rather than creating the strokes. You know, I have the hair, I just need the pigment. So if you don't have a lot of brow hair, what you may want to do is get a thinner pencil and actually draw strokes on. It's amazing what they can do with eye pencils these days. It's crazy. Okay, that's good enough for right now. A little thicker than I wanted, but you know what? YOLO. So I'm gonna comb that through. Just make sure the pigment is distributed evenly. Let me actually just drag out the tail a little bit more. Okay, good enough for me. Now I'm going to go back to the eyes for just a second. So I'm going to take a little bit of color and just go below the lash line just to kind of connect the outer corner with the bottom lash line. And what I'm going to use to do that is my, did I bring it? Oh, I think I forgot that one. Oops. Well, we'll just go back in with this one. So again, I'm taking the Morphe M507. That is the thinner shader brush that we use for the outer detail on the outer corner of the eye. And I'm going to go in with Tease. It's that shadow right there. And I'm going to do a mix of Tease and Secret. Those are the two shades we use for contour on the upper lid. And I'm just going to go along the bottom lash line. I'm not going to take it all the way in, I'm just going to do the outer corner. And again, just connect that up. so it kind of comes together and you get that dimension. And again, a mix of tease and secret. So I guess the rule, not really rule, but whatever you use on the upper lid for contouring, you kind of want to use on the bottom, just so it kind of, you know, keeping with the theme, you know. Ooh, so sorry about this light, y'all. I promise. I'll get a ring light eventually, and it'll be a lot better. And I'm filming on my couch because, again, I don't have a studio yet. I don't have the money for a studio. I'm just living my life, doing makeup. If the time comes, or the opportunity presents itself for a filming room, sure, whatever. But right now, I'll film on my couch, I'll film in the bed, whichever I want to do. So I'm taking, I'm going to take a little bit of that color, sorry I'm blinding you with the mirror, there we go, that color Secret, that one we used on the outer corner for that color, the pop of color. Oh, that's not Secret, I'm sorry, that's Love Bite. And then just add that pop of color on the bottom as well. While you're connecting it up to the upper lid color. And when in doubt, blend it out. You just want to make sure it's even. I may have gone a little ham on the bottom lash line, but you know, whatever. You get the idea. We may go back and use our little trick with the bare shade, and then just blend it out a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to go back and add a little bit of that deeper plum color on the outside, again, just because I can't help myself. And then with no additional product, just blend that again. Alright, so that's it for the shadow. For my lashes, I'm using this mascara. It is my absolute favorite. It is by Milk Makeup. It's called Kush Mascara. And fun fact, it actually has cannabis in it. No, you're not going to get high by using it, nor are your eyes going to get bloodshot. That was my thought too. But it comes in this really really heavy metal tube. It's made in Italy, so my people. So I'm just going to do a couple coats of that. You can see the brush is pretty tight, the bristles are pretty tightly woven, so that's going to give you a lot of volume. So I'm just going to go in from root to tip. People will tell you to wiggle the wand. I prefer not to. Everybody's lashes are different, and I found that the wiggle motion, you know, where you go like that and wiggle up, doesn't work for me. So I just start at the bottom and just work it through the top. And get the outer lashes as well. And I'm not using falsies because this mascara does a good enough job on its own. If I were doing a more dramatic or editorial look, I would probably put on false lashes, but I'm not feeling that today. So you can see that's after one coat. That's pretty good. And then you want to get your bottom lashes. Okay, so I'm going to let that coat dry. I'm going to go to the other eye. Also, you'll see a lot of people pump their mascara. Don't do that, because all you're doing is pumping air into your mascara, and it's gonna dry it out quicker, and it also introduces bacteria into the tube, so you don't want that. So let's go to this eye. God, I love this mascara, y'all. I really do. It's not cheap, but I will pay money. Things I will pay good money for. The three things I would pay good money for. Eyeshadow, even though I have a drugstore one. If it's a really good eyeshadow palette, I will buy it. Skincare, hands down. I will pay $100 plus for skincare because it's your face. You only get one. You need to take care of it. And the third one is mascara. I have used a lot of drugstore mascaras that work very well, but there's something about this one, the way it applies. And again, everyone's eyelashes are different, so what works for me may not work for you. And bottom one. And that just opens up your eyes a little bit more. And there's a hair that wants to be in the picture. No. And I'm going with a second coat. You can leave it at one coat, but it's me we're talking about. All about that lash. So when I'm applying multiple coats, I don't let it dry completely before applying, because then you'll end up with a lot of clumps, and you don't want that. And you notice I haven't dipped in too much. This wand holds a lot of product and distributes really well. Okay, so that's it for the eyes right now. I'm going to go back. I think I'm going to add a little bit more bronzer. I know this video is like 45 minutes long before editing, so it normally doesn't take me this long to do my makeup, but I'm trying to explain as I go. And just add a little bit more of that bronzer just to warm up the face. Oh, it's lighting, man. Hit the double chin real quick. Alright, and that's it for the face. Now for lip, I'm just going in with a nude lip pencil. This is by Milani, again, drugstore. The drugstore is coming for makeup, man. They are coming for the high-end brands, and I'm living for it. So, this is a Milani lip pencil. It's called Color Statement Lip Liner, and this is in the shade, what is the shade? All Natural. So I'm going to go ahead and just line my lips with this. I'm not using a lipstick, I'm just going to line my lips and maybe fill them in a little bit. But oh, and I had moisturized my lips already with my Rodan Field Lip Serum, which is my favorite thing on earth. So I do the bottom. I outline it first. I outline just the natural contours of your lip. You don't want to end up looking like a clown. If you want to, I mean, that's not my business, but. Okay, so I've lined them. You can see how it's contoured on the outside. That's just the natural shape of you know, you want to follow the natural shape of your lip. You don't want to overline too much, because then it'll just look obviously like you overlined your lips. But then what I do is I just fill it in. So I'll take my finger and kind of smudge it up. And again, that diffuses the color and makes the liner not look as harsh. And I tend to go in and redefine the corners because those can get blended away pretty easily. And just because I want to, I'm going to go in with a shade from this palette. Rather than use a gloss, I'm going to put a little bit in the center. I'm trying to decide which shade. I think I'm going to go in with this shade Fantasy right here. It's a really, really pretty, it's got, oh my god, it's got so many reflex in it. It's got some silver, some purple, some pink. I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to take a little bit on my finger. And I'm just going to put a little bit. Oh, that's pretty. Just put a little bit on my lip, on the center. I bet y'all didn't know you could use eyeshadow on your lips. I didn't know either at first. Alright, and that is it. So as you can see, this look was used with both high-end and drugstore products. You do not have to stick with just high-end. You can mix and match. A lot of times drugstore stuff is better than high-end. We found that out with the makeup brushes, with the foundation, with the powder, with the blush and the bronzer. And oh, you know what? Let me add a little bit of highlight, because why not? So I'm taking a Morphe 510. This is a highlighting brush. You don't necessarily need a certain brush for highlighting, but it kind of helps it go on. So we're just going to hit the top of our cheekbones. Again, if you have a round face like me, just kind of ballpark it. So I'm using the Makeup Revolution, y'all. This palette, oh, sorry, it's really smudged. It's well loved. This is Makeup Revolution. They are a drugstore brand. You can get them at Ulta. And they have a lot of dupes for higher end brands. So this is a dupe for the, I think it was Kylie Cosmetics. She had like a $50-something highlighter palette. I got this for $11. hello. So I'm going to go in between these two shades right here, this white shade and this peachy tone right here, because I think that bottom rose one's a little dark for me. So I'm going to swirl it in the lighter one, swirl it in the pink, tap off a little bit. Woo, that's intense. So remember what we said we do when we go overboard? Sorry, y'all. I'm gonna go in with my beauty blender and just kind of buff that out. Ooh, that's really bright. And that just adds a little bit of glow. And I will do some on my nose occasionally. I might do a little bit. Just to add a little bit of glow. Alright, well, that completes this look. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for bearing with me for my first video. I know it was weird with my awkward background. That's my living room. The angles and the lighting is a little bit weird, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Thanks for being here. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any ideas, anything you'd like to see, any specific makeup reviews, tutorials, comment down below. Feel free to subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment. And I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you guys. Bye.